Well, this is part two. This is part two.
because they're
You
weak.
gonna
They're
just
behaving
play.
more like their mommies expected them to, and they don't have the example of a strong father. See, I was blessed. I have example of a strong father, so I know what to do. I know how to be. I know what's expected. I
How you
understand
doing, man?
devotion.
What's
I
up?
understand responsibility because I saw it growing up. So there are a lot of men that are walking around with penises, but they have the mind of a woman. They have the mind of their mother, and they don't know how to fix it because they've got all this a lot of tangled web with their mother that when unresolved gets transferred on to their wife or to their girlfriend. Then they start seeking validation and nourishment and neediness from women. Women don't want a weak man. We all want.
See, when men like that speak about other men that are like that, um, they in turn disrespect the woman. Cause he's I'm not trying to come at you, bro. Yes, I definitely don't want to fight you. That nigga bigger than me. But but your wife his wife is standing there listening to him, right? Speak, right? But at the same time he's degrading the woman at the same time while he speak about these other men. You feel me? Although he's coming at this man, he's degrading his wife literally in that process. You don't like every man cannot be the same. You feel me? There's not one substance to what an alpha man is supposed to be. You dig? So he's talking about you gotta be strong. You gotta. It's like everything that he's speaking of this so-called alpha male has to do with you being some kind of mean tough guy and just it's just that feeling. I don't know what words to put to it. So it's like this is his. I don't think I can show it because it's already on YouTube. This is his wife looking at him while he speak. That's his wife looking at him. She like she's not like yes yes honey, yeah. And she's more like she's thinking in her mind. She just, taking it all in and stuff like that. And she said she's happy with her role. She didn't degrade other women when she said what she said. But when it comes to him, there's a problem in there that like he has to fix himself. Like you don't have to be the biggest and baddest guy in the room. Everybody's bad until a real test come along. And it's like, you feel me? It's it's true, my nigga. Like I heard a story about Mano. Was it Mano? It was Mano and Fat Joe. Fat Joe show. They was talking, and they was talking about temptation and everything else like that, and the things that's going on in hip hop. And there was a guy that they were speaking about who used to own a Cadillac company, and he was doing good and everything else. And when the recession hit in 2008, long story short, he committed suicide. Some people are good. Some people can be men to the highest degree until a real test come along and it shows you who you are as a person. That's when you have to prepare yourself for the worst case scenario type shit like that. So he's talking all this big talk and everything else like that. But I'm not gonna define him by what he has right now. I can only define you by when you fall, how did you get back up? That's what an alpha man is at the end of the day, or any kind of man. I'm not even gonna put an alpha on it because to me there ain't no alpha man. That's just like let's stop it. Either you a male or you a man. That's it. Let's simplify this shit. You're making it too complicated. Red pill, blue pill, yellow pill. Please stop it. But it's when you get knocked down. How did you get back up? When you lost your money, did you make it back? Because people always want to attach themselves to financial situation. Is how did you make it back? You feel me? I'm not saying that. I've been through a lot myself and I'm still trying to make it back and everything else. But if you're gonna define me by those odds. You feel me? When everything was against you, how did you come up out of it? When everybody's against you, did you believe what they said about you? Or did you stand up to the occasion and believe in yourself? That's what a true man is. You feel me? It's not the other things, it's like brushing your teeth. You're supposed to do these things. But let's hear what he got to say.
Power. Women
Power.
they act like.
You see, his whole thing, because he lift too much weight. You feel me? Everything that comes out of him has to be strong, power, and the like that feeling of, the intense feeling. It's like, yo, calm down, bro. Like, calm down. The person that you even compare yourself to, who's an alpha male, and the alpha male compare itself to the lion, for the description of what a lion is. Most of them sleep 20 hours a day. And when they do show their power, they're like, they're rolling. But they not. It's not no physicalness going on already. It's like, let's take a look at to me, the strongest animal in the kingdom is a gorilla. Will you watch documentary of these animals? Because we study these animals to be what we are. Internally, we still animals. The animals were here before us. We just happen to have some willpower and have a brain that can think. Well, animals can think too, but our shit is a little more complicated when it comes to the language and the thought process and everything else like that. We more like a godly image and everything else like that. So, when you take a look at a gorilla, right? Gorilla are very, very strong, extremely strong. They do not eat no meat or anything else like that. Some of them do. They've had documentaries where I've seen something, but I'm talking about the overall. But they're very, very strong. They only do things to intimidate you, like do not cross this line, like, and they do all that stuff. It's more like a ritual. It's like, do not disrespect that line, and I will not disrespect you. Feel me? It does not have to get into a physical altercation, but it's more like, you respect my line, I respect your line, and that's that. From this my territory, and that's what a lion does. The lion's and it's just and all that stuff that they do. This is just a form of I'm trying to look for the word, but it's more like stating your claim, basically. Yo, this is my territory. You hearing it from that far away. Don't come any closer, because I got a family here I gotta protect, and it's all about family when it comes to them. And that's the protection aspect of it. It's like, yo, I have equipped myself. That's where the second amendment right comes in. Like, you can get a gun, you can be like him and lift weights and everything else and look imposing. You feel me? But you don't need. You become less of a man when you speak down upon other people. Cause you feel me? So I'm just hearing me, man. I'm not coming at you, bro. I'm just not coming at you, cause you look like you eat weights for dinner, and I ain't fucking with you. No commercial now. But a lot of men are insecure of who
Shop
they
the
are.
Joseph A. Bank
So
holiday
they
sales
do a
event.
whole.
Get sweaters
You can see
starting
the
at
insecurity.
$2 for $59.
A woman will show you.
They act like they want a man they can control. It's just normal and natural. They want to control him. But when they find that they can control him and manipulate him, they realize he's useless. What do I need him for? He just becomes a cat's paw. Women that have weak men, they
Okay. One thing that he needs to understand is that a woman is always in control. Even when she gives you, even when she act like you are in control, she's in control. A real woman will give the control over to her man to make him feel like he's in control. You feel me? That's what most men really be thinking they're in control, and I laugh at them. I be like, nigga, you really think you're in control? She's in control. That's a real leader. A leader will get her control over. That's what Christ did. Like, Christ, the man that walked on earth, can walk on water, that can raise the dead and everything else, still humble himself down to his feet, humble himself to his knees and watch his disciples' feet. You feel me? Knowing that you have it but not using it. You feel me? He had the power to raise the dead. How come he didn't have the power to come off the cross? Like, he could have easily sent his angels down and be like, yo, get me off this shit, my nigga. I ain't trying to be on this cross. Fuck's wrong with these niggas? They crazy. But he had you humble yourself enough to allow what is supposed to take place to take place. And that's what women do best. A woman always has the power. But he make it seem like, well, I have to be in control over her. So when I'm in control over her in the relationship, that's what defines me as a man. If she control me, then that means that I am not a man. And that's not true, because a real man sometimes will allow the woman also to take the lead. You feel me? You see some men, and sometimes they know their woman so well, and the woman is yelling on top of her, and he just calm and collective. Like, he's in control of the situation. He knows her best enough to understand that, honey, like, just speaking few words. Then after that, You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. She probably apologized to him and everything else like that, but they're still in a relationship. Most of the longest relationship you see, the man is very meek. He's just calm and collective. It's like just like yo, what up? Just cause you allow your woman to control you sometimes does not make you a weak man. You don't always have to be in control. Like you don't have to be a control freak. Like you feel me? This is not you lifting weights and I cause he's a weightlifter, so I'm getting it in, motherfucker. You can't fuck with me. But no, calm down, my nigga. You feel me? I had to it seems like I'm getting at him, but I'm not getting I'm not getting at him. But let's hear him again.
They resent them. When they know that they can control their man and manipulate their man, they know
That's
other
from her
people
point of
can
view.
control and manipulate their man. And that is a complete turnoff. If you can't stomach being disliked by your family.
And that's a true woman right there too. I have to commend her a lot because she said that if a woman controls you, then she knows that other people can control you. She's being a woman at that moment in time. What you think she's doing? That was right after he said that. That was right after he kind of degraded her in a way by saying what he said. And how was her reply? She agreed with him, then boost his ego up a little bit and gave him that confidence to keep going. You see her reply? She's very wise as she speaks. A lot of people don't understand women how they operate. We're gonna play it back so y'all can get to understand. Understand the small details. It matters. Now we gonna
Normal and natural. They
hear
want
him
to
speak.
control him. But when they find that they can control him and manipulate him, they realize he's useless. What do I need him for? He just becomes a cat's paw. Women that have weak men, they resent them. When they know that they can control their man and
She literally repeated what he said.
manipulate their man, they know other people can control and manipulate their man. And that is a complete turnoff. If you can't stomach.
She's being supportive. She knows him like the back of her hand. She knows what to say to him and how to nurture him and give him the motor that he needs to be at that level that he wants to be at that menstrual fear. You feel me? Because when you that high in flight, you need a motor to keep you up there. So him being up there, guess who's basically constantly supporting him and pushing him on? That is the woman. The woman, she repeated what he said, but didn't say word for word what he said. She just worded another way just to give him that support. Like, yeah, baby, I support you. Like that. Even if she don't agree with it. Because she knows her position. You feel me? I just play his part back and I play her part back. You tell me what's the difference. There's no difference. She just worded it better and gave him the push. It can give more ego. Because he's ego driven. That's one thing men gotta go. Let go of your ego sometimes. Some of your egos are your downfall. You feel me? There's a lot of men like that, like just ego driven. How do I look in front of other people? Like, you feel me? And just be confident in yourself, bro. Like, feel me? If you're around your family, there's no need to put on that. But when you are in public, I can understand why you would do something like that, so nobody will try you in any form or shape and everything else like that. But you have to be confident. Real men always have confidence. I'm not coming at you again, though.
Being disliked by your family, by the people in the streets, by anyone, you can't be a man. A leader in the home is not a nice guy.
We always tell a woman to act like a lady in the street, but a freak in the bed. A leader in the home is not a nice guy. I don't agree with that at all. You feel me? You can be a gangster and a gentleman. You can be a gentleman at home. You know what I mean? Treat your wife with some respect and everything else. If she need help in the kitchen, you step in there and help her out with the food, wash the plates and everything else. That's gentleman. That's being nice. You play with your kids and everything else. You a fatherly figure. You have to be a fatherly figure in the home. But when you outside, you don't even have to be a gangster, but you have to, your alert has to be up because you don't know what's out there. It could be a hyena coming out, a hyena coming out of nowhere, fucking a tiger coming out of nowhere. No, there's all different kind of fucking wolves and everything else coming out there. So when you outside your territory, you can do that. And when you in your home, you can also be on high guard just in case something breaks in. But at the same time, when you dealing one-on-one, connection-wise, electrical impulse, dealing with your family, your kids, and your wife and everything else like that, you have to be a nice. How can a leader in the home not be a nice guy? He's only talking about the protective side of things. This always has to do with so he's thinking in that point of frequency. He's not thinking about the overall. He's not thinking about the other things that makes a man. You feel me? That should go. I gotta bring it back. So he's not thinking about the overall aspect of what makes a man. He's only thinking he's so. It's like he was bullied when he was a kid or something like that. I had to look at his documentary. So it's like he's still fighting for that little boy that he already overcame, which he has to let go already. And I'm not coming at you, by the way.
What men have been doing, a culture of men throughout history, and we've been raising men up. We've been saying, this is the guy.
This is another
This
man.
is a great man. This is what a great man looks like. This is what a great man does. And that's the culture that you get if you have a heroic culture, if you have an idealized masculinity. Like, this is the goal. And if you don't have that, you have this.
Now they showing he's on stage speaking, right? And they showing he's a white man speaking to a crowd, like, you feel me? It's like a TED show, but he's like, you know how the TED show goes when people get on the stage and they just, you know, speak about their ideas and what it can mean if the world adapt that idea and how it make the world a better place. So basically it's the same concept. So he's speaking and he has a projector that's projecting onto the wall, and the image is showing is a man on a horse, and he's showing the difference between that man on a horse with a sword or a knife or whatever that look like a warrior, you know, about to go into battle, and it's a GQ magazine with Pharrell on it wearing a dress, whatever the fuck that is. And he showed the difference between those two, and he's showing how culture and time has changed and everything else like that. And me being intelligent, I know there's some kind of supremacist, not on his part, but when you put a man on the magazine to be of a certain color and put a dress on the man, I know they're trying to push an idea out there to make it seem this person less than or trying to degrade that person. That's why when the other guy said men have to compete, where I asked the question, if I compete with you, where does that competition end? I can't tell you how far I can go if I'm competing with you. You feel me? So I don't blame when they put men. If you allow another man to put you in a magazine, you wearing a dress, that's part of the competition too. If I gotta degrade you and I gotta be nice to degrade you, well, guess what? I have the better advantage of you because I put you in that magazine. You was wearing a dress, and guess what? Somebody like this man who's on stage is gonna show somebody like a Hamilton who was a president, is one of the president, is on the money, and he's riding a horse and he look as manly as possible. If it's a competition, because you say you want to compete, right? You feel me? You can't determine how I compete with you when I'm competing with you. You can't slap me, then expect me to slap you back. You slap me, I might chop off your arm. You feel me? Like you cannot tell the person how to respond when you do something to them. You feel me? So people wants to compete, but then they have an idea in their mind how the person's supposed to reply or how the person's supposed to respond and everything else like that. But I'm gonna let this man talk. Hubba, 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 hubba. Hubba, hubba, hubba.
That you have this.
So that's the
That's
image
what that
that he's
means.
showing between those two men.
And the thing about, as I said, you never can become a woman.
So
You can only become a shitty man. Many of the boys and men who visit 21 Convention ended up in the manosphere after finding themselves on the edges of the dating scene for various reasons.
Could you tell us how did you find out about the 21 Convention?
Ultimately, it was just like a bad breakup that I had previously, and so I was just looking for answers on Google, and one thing led to another, and I found out about this. My initial Google search was on what it is that women want, pretty much, and so it led me down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. And obviously, the way your relationship ended left you with a lot of questions.
Yes, because I had initially thought that I was doing everything right. I was, but in the end, I ended up supplicating to the woman, right? And so I was putting myself down to try to like
Uplift her.
do what